Now, looking at this, these represent actually the simplest of all possibilities. What you want to do when you're putting your edges in is you need to get a situation where you have both of your corner edges solved. And that's what you have here. If you just have one that's solved, all the rest in this side, in this plane, must be solved. It has no choice. So you have all of these. Sometimes you're going to get a fully solved side, sometimes you're going to get two, sometimes you're going to get one, sometimes you're going to get all, then you're lucky, sometimes you'll get none, but you'll have edges here solved. This is one scenario. So what you can do is you can quite simply do your swapping algorithm with these guys. But notice we've got the purple and white stripe, the purple and white. This is not purple and white over here. So what we want to do is try to line them up. Bring this over here, and you can see that we've got, well, actually, let's bring this back here. Yeah, none of these seem to match up, or do they? Anything here? Nope, actually, okay, it's these guys here. So this red and white will swap with this. And this purple and yellow will swap with this. So we're going to swap these two, knowing we're going to have effects on the centers here, but then we'll just swap these two. So go ahead and swap these guys over here, to U, to R, to F, to U, to U, to F, to R, to U. So that's swap these two, and now everything's fine. We know we messed these centers up, so we're going to keep it in the same configuration, this in front and this to the side. And I'm just going to take the other edges here, which are complementary to each other, and now swap these edges, which will get these back. To U, to R, to F, to U, to U, to F, to R, to U. So the centers came back, and now these edges on this plane have all been solved. Now, it could have been another way that might have happened. It might have looked something like this. Notice with this side is solved, this is not, and this is not. So what we want to do is the same kind of thing. We can see that none of these edges line up. This doesn't match with this doesn't match with this. So we turn this over here, and you can see this does. This matches with this, but these two don't match with this. So what that means is that once I flip these are going to be in, this side will be in, but this will not. But that's going to coincide with this side. Now we can flip these two. But I don't want to take it away from this configuration with this center here and this center here, so I can get it back. So what I'm going to do is let's go ahead and turn this over here. And now we're going to solve it to where this center will be in, but this of course won't be, because I've got the yellow and purple, which will line up with this. So to U, to R, to F, to U, to U, to F, to R, to U. So this is in, but this is still out. Now what I need to do is, without changing this configuration, double turn this over here, so now these two that are complementary are across from each other. This will come in, these will be solved, and this will go back to where it's supposed to be, because we caused some flipping here and here. To U, to R, to F, to U, to U, to F, to R, to U. And lo and behold, it's all in. So what we see in this plane, these edges are all solved, and these centers are fine. Now comes the challenge. Now comes the part that I think most of you guys have questions on if you try to solve it. Let's try to do another plane over here. What you can see is none of these are correct. So none of these line up with each other. I don't have, these corners aren't in. If one corner isn't in, or one don't have two corners that are in, all the rest are out. So here's what you have to do. Pick any corner at random. You can pick it to where two of these are in. These centers really have no meaning right now. What you want to do is you want to find the one that belongs here. So I'm looking for the green and white here or here. In this case, it's here. And now move it in like this. Now what you're going to find is that now this is all fine, this is all fine, and these two are not. They just need to be swapped. To which you might be saying, well, wait a minute. Did you forget what you just did? Didn't I just mess these centers up? Didn't I just do a 180-degree turn of these 1x3 bars? And yes, I did. Do I care? No, I don't. At least not yet. So don't panic. We did put these out, but I had no choice. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these reciprocal ones back in, keeping these where they are. Now when I do that, you're going to think, well, okay, fantastic. You'll get these in, but now you've doubly messed things up because not only did you take these out, but you're also about to flip these around. Isn't that going to cause mass chaos? And the answer is probably. But we have a way of dealing with it. But understand that there's going to be a symmetry now, because now this is going to be out across from one that's not out. By out, I just mean these here. This is going to be out across from one by not out. So there's going to be an association that's consistent. So let's go ahead and swap these two. 2u, 2r, 2f, 2u, 2u, 2f, 2r, 2u. So lo and behold, we've got our edges in. Now, the price to pay. Here's what you're going to find. You're going to go back to your center pairs, and now I have to get them back. All we have to do is we have to do a bunch of swaps, getting these 1x3 bars to swap down over here. The way to do this, though, is in your 1x3 bars, or in your center pairs, you're going to have one center, in this case it's this one, that has of the same color the 1x3 bar that's in the proper color center that's completely in. So in other words, all of these are fine, but you're going to have the other 1x3 bar of the opposite color sitting there. Now the one that's opposite it, you're going to have the 1x3 bar of the right color, but flipped wrong. And then you're going to have the other 1x3 bar of the opposite of the color that belongs here. So with this one, you have the yellow 1x3 bar, but you can see it doesn't coincide with this. This is blue, this is green, this is green, this is blue. So you're always going to have one that has the proper color 1x3 bar in the proper place, and the other one has it not in the proper place. So here's what we're going to do. The one that's in the proper place is always going to be to your left and bring it out. You're going to have the 1x3 bar that is of the opposite color. And what you're going to do is you're going to line it up to where the 1x3 bar of that color is facing that. Because what we're about to do is we're about to swap these two. So again, the center where the 1x3 bar of the proper color is in the proper place is going to be to the left. And facing, ready for action, ready to move, is the wrong 1x3 bar color. Just opposite that will be the reciprocal color, will be the same color on the other side. Because what we're going to do is we're going to put this purple stripe in the proper purple center. Understand that when I do that, I'm going to cause flipping of these centers, but I'm not even going to worry about that. I'm just going to take this and I'm going to flip these two. Now this is going to be the even layer algorithm version, where this is going to be my U, and of course this is going to be my F. So go ahead and do it. 2U, 2R, 2F, then it's just 1, 2U, then 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. And lo and behold, this is now where it needs to be. This is now where it's supposed to be. What I'm going to do now this affected, this didn't affect this center. Well, it actually did affect this center, but in a way that you don't have to worry about right now. It did affect this, but we're not going to worry about that because we're about to put it back. Now we take this, double turn it so that this white is now matching this. So this yellow is about to be put back right where it's supposed to be. This white and purple is about to be put back where it's supposed to be. And this top one that was skewed is about to be placed back in, and this whole thing is about to rotate. So 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. So now this is fine and this is fine. It has been fixed. So let's go to another one. So I just used one algorithm, but I used it twice with a little bit of setting up. Now if you want me to just go through this using one mega algorithm without worrying about the setups, I'll do that with the next one. But suffice it to say, here's the color with a 1x3 bar of the proper color in the proper place. Here's the green that goes on the opposite side. So I know that the other one, the green area, its 1x3 bar is not at the proper place. So find the one that's at the proper place, put it at the left, make sure that the wrong color is the one that's ready to swap, and make sure it's swapping with the one on the other side that's of the same color. So here's what you do if you just want the whole algorithm. Set it up like that and do 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. Then do a 2R and do it again. 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. And you'll find if you just do that even by rote, this is in and this is in. Those are all fine. So I showed you two concepts of how to do it, one by just one algorithm done twice with positioning, the other just kind of by blind rote. But you're going to find that now all these are in, these centers are fine, and all these are in, these edges. Let's practice again with this one. So once again, blue and red. So the blue and red is either going to be here or here. Actually, it can also be up here, and that's where it is. Blue and red is over here. So I'm just going to double turn it like so and move it into position. So now this is solved and this is solved, but you're always going to have two that are not. So ignore the fact that you put these out and go ahead and swap these two. 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U. So now we're good. All that's fine. Getting these back in, we'll start off with the blue and green. This is not the right one because this 1x3 bar of the blue is not put in the proper place. We must have it with a green. So this is going to come over to here, make sure that the two blue 1x3 bars are matched up, and swap these two. The other way to look at it is just put this one with a white stripe where it's supposed to be right over here. So that's 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. You'll find this is now properly placed. Move this so that this green and this blue can now swap, which will bring this back to U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F, and now this center pair is fine. Finally, we do it with this one. Here's a proper one with this one where it needs to be, except for this stripe over here, and now we just exchange these two reds. This red and yellow will match up with this red and yellow. This red and white is simply not where it's supposed to be. 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. Now that this is where it needs to be, do your 2R to bring this in line with this. 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F, and you did it. Everything has been reduced. All the centers and all the edges. So now this has just become a Rubik's 180 Super 3x3 solve. Just to review that, what I would do first is get all the centers correct. Green stripe up. Let's get the green stripe up, and green stripe up. This is where it needs to be on the bottom. This is where it needs to be. So get all your centers lined up. Now we have to get our corners in. And corners are easy. These two corners are where they need to be, which means that the bottom green, well, they're not where they need to be. They're lined up with each other, but this has to come over to here. So what I'm going to do first is find the correct green and white, which is supposed to go here. And what I'm going to do is line it up with this. So I'm going to take this down so that I can put this green corner, these two green corner pairs appropriately here, and then move it up. So now I've got the right green corners to come over to here. But I can't just move it up, right? If I do that, this green is on the bottom. So let's move this out of the way, these corner pairs out of the way, bring this center down so that the green is on the bottom, so that it meets the proper corners, and then we bring it up. So these corners are actually all fine. Ignore the edges for now, just the corners. Now if these corners are right, by necessity, the corners on the bottom must be correct, and they are. 100% of the time, you'll find that these corners are going to be fine. So now we're just going to line these up. Now we're going to get these in. This is all strategy, now that everything is in, now that the puzzle is calibrated. Just remember that I'm going to be doing the 180-degree odd layer version of swapping. When I swap these two are going to swap as well. I'm going to use that knowledge to my benefit. So what needs to go where? Well, this is fine. This is fine where it is, so we really don't want that to change. Also bear in mind, not only is this going to swap, but your centers are going to rotate as well, which means I have to do it in pairs of two, keeping a center to the front and to the back as the same center, doing two algorithms so it can flop back. So which ones need to flop? Well, these two can do a clean swap. If I do that, this is going to be swapped as well. I don't mind if this swaps, but I know by necessity this one must belong here and this must belong here without even looking. Red and white I know must go over here, and this must be the red and yellow which goes over here. Well, it doesn't exactly go over here, but it's going to eventually swap with this one. So what I'm going to do, if I'm going to swap these two, let's move this into place over here. That way, this will maintain its position when I move it back. So I'm going to double turn it here, and these two will swap while these two swaps. Swaps? While these two swap. Then I'll just move it back, and then we can see what's happened. This will be in. Well, not exactly. This will be close to being in, but this will come down to here. So we have 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. So now that I've swapped these two, I'm now going to quickly turn this back to get my corners in. Now you may say, well, wait a minute, it's still not lined up, but we know that this caused even that odd layered algorithm caused a rotation of this center and a rotation of this center. So I'm just going to kind of ignore that. So now I know that this is actually right, believe it or not. This is right as well, and this is not right. Even though it looks like it's lined up with the proper center, you can tell the green stripe is here, it should be here. So these two actually need to be swapped. However, I don't really want to change this configuration. I have to keep it lined up here so that my next algorithm, the center will rotate correctly, and so will this. So what else needs to be swapped? So I'm going to want these two guys to swap over here. Now if I were to move it from here and here, I'll swap these two, but I'm also going to swap these two. Do I really want to do that? And the answer is, well, this one can, because although it looks like it's the same stripe, remember this center is rotated, so it's actually not. This one I would rather not swap. I would rather not do any swapping. So these two are kind of wrong. So what I'm going to do is the ones that I don't mind swapping, which is going to be these two. So I want to swap these two at the same time that I'm going to swap these two. So the way that I'm going to set that up to happen is I'm going to go ahead and double turn this over here so that this is ready to do some swapping. And then I'm going to turn this so that these two are swapping with each other, and then turn this. This might have seemed complicated, but it was all just a matter of positioning. I just have to remember how I got there to get it back. At the end of the day, these two will swap, and these two will swap, and these two won't. And I didn't want these to swap anyway, but I wanted these guys too. 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. Now, let's see if we can get ourselves back and not get ourselves confused. I remember the last thing I did was I double turned this. I did a 2L. Let's turn this back over here. So that's okay. Then what I did is I double turn this over here. And then double turn this over here. The end result, these two were swapped, these two were swapped, and these two were swapped. Now, you don't have to be as complicated as I did. I just did a lot of turning and returning. As long as you hold the centers where they're supposed to be, for two algorithms, you'll rotate the center and then rotate it back. So let's keep going. What else needs to swap here? So let's do this. This green and yellow is supposed to be over here. This blue and white is supposed to be over here. So why don't I double turn it like this and swap these two? This will come into where it's supposed to be here. And this will come into where it's supposed to be here. These two will swap, but then I'm going to end up swapping it back. So let's go ahead and do that. 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. This is here, and I'm just going to turn this back like so. Now don't let this fool you. This center got turned and this center got turned. So this is actually where it needs to be. Now finally, this blue and yellow needs to come here, and this blue and green needs to come here. So if I double turn this over here, I'll swap these two will swap back, and these centers will swap back also. So we'll do it again. 2U, 2R, 2F, 2U, 2F, 2R, 2U, 2F. I simply turn this back, and lo and behold, we have solved it. You've done it. So blue, red, 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 red. This is where it needs to be, and this is where it needs to be. Now, if that last step was a little convoluted, look at the Rubik's 180. It was exactly the same thing. These were the edges, these were the corners. And the 3x3 Supercube 180 was exactly the same. Or you can just watch it slowly, take a look at it again. It was just a matter of positioning and repositioning, keeping in mind that with every algorithm, as long as I kept these centers in the same coordination, whatever I did to this and this, and whatever I did to these two will be undone if I just find another configuration and do it again. There it is, Rubik's 180 5x5 Supercube. Can I apply this to the ultramorphix? Who knows? Thanks for watching.